Hello, my name is Robert Jago, and I'm a Senior Lecturer in Law at Royal Holloway School of Law, University of London. I'm also the co-author of the Comparative Criminal Justice Policy course for the London International Programme. In this initial film, I'm going to outline the broad content of this course and the sorts of topics you can expect to study if you sign up to study this course. Martin Luther King famously said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and comparative criminal justice policy is broadly concerned with the study of criminal justice systems from a comparative perspective. It considers criminal justice systems from a range of jurisdictions with a view to highlighting the merits and drawbacks of these systems, which may or may not potentially endorse or undermine the pursuit of justice. The course broadly explores the fact that what a crime is can often be described as a social construct, because it can differ according to the nation-state's own definition of what it wishes to be criminal. The course reviews the various methods of comparison, from the approaches that can be taken when studying criminal justice policy, the tools used to complete fieldwork, the ability to critically consider crime and punishment statistics from a number of jurisdictions, and an identification and review of the key philosophies, aims, and values of criminal justice systems around the world. This course also looks at the different types of legal system that exist around the world as a way of appreciating different legal cultures. This assists scholars with understanding how various jurisdictions have been developed and what their historical roots are. The course divides this up into systems of common law, where the legal traditions of the UK and the US are considered, civil law, where students then examine how things may differ in countries such as France and Germany, socialist law, where students think about the Chinese legal tradition and what is left of the legal system established under the former USSR, and finally Islamic law, where we look at a review of the legal system in Saudi Arabia and we explore from a secular perspective how legal systems under these broad umbrella terms have developed criminal justice policies. And we do this by reviewing similarities and differences between these different systems. The course then moves on to consider particular features of criminal justice policy. This is where students examine policing and prosecution around the world by reviewing, for example, the similarities and differences between policing and prosecution, say, in the UK and the US, with policing in China. And this allows students to think about the importance of due process when considered alongside the sometimes conflicting aim of crime control. A study of trials and sentencing follows, where students are asked to look at the role of judges in different criminal justice systems and the different types of sentences that can be given, whether it be the death penalty in some countries through to supervision in the community in others. The course then looks at imprisonment around the world and looks at current expansionist trends where some states, such as the US, look to rely more heavily on the use of imprisonment, whereas others, such as the Scandinavian countries, look to continue to reduce their reliance on imprisonment as a matter of criminal justice policy. When comparing these policies, students will be asked to critically consider how effective they believe the use of the prison is as a form of punishment, based on the evidence that they review. The course then considers the use of probation and punishment in the community, and students will look at community service in countries such as Greece and compare this with countries such as the Ukraine. In the final part of the course, we look at contemporary examples of where crime is not confined to national boundaries. Here, students will begin by looking at the relatively new phenomenon of transnational crime, which occurs across countries, and the focus here is on drug trafficking and money laundering. We ask how the international community can respond to these crimes, where some jurisdictions see this as a key form of direct investment in their economies, whereas others have focused on eradicating this form of criminal activity. The course then considers the phenomenon of terrorism and looks at how this has developed historically and considers how international criminal justice policy in relation to current global terrorist problems and how we can respond to those. Here we look at state responses and the validity or not of the old adage that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, and the policy choices that can stem from that view. The course then considers specific examples of international humanitarian crimes, such as genocide and crimes against humanity throughout history, and asks how policy choices can make a difference in this fight against crimes which have this international flavour. A key tool in the fight against international crime is the International Criminal Court. And the last topic examined is the court, its structure and its operation, and we ask whether it continues to deliver on its mandate and what current policy choices are being taken within the court. Its focus thus far has tended to be of offences committed in Africa during various civil wars. But how might this develop in the future? And we ask how effective can the court be in securing that elusive goal of world peace? The course is divided up into 4 modules. The first module is entitled Methods of Comparative Study. The second is Legal Cultures and Criminal Justice Policy. The third is Aspects of Comparative Criminal Policy. And the final module is Global Crime. Students study these modules in a sequential way, so start with the first and work their way through, and the key idea here is to understand the methods of comparison so the critical evaluation can take place of the specific policy choices that are often taken around the world. This course is of particular concern to those who have an interest in both historical and contemporary dilemmas in criminal justice, and I hope that you'll find this course an interesting one to study. We look forward to welcoming you to Comparative Criminal Justice Policy.